everyone. I got my voice back. Yay, finally. This is my video submission for week 4's discussion post, talking about assessing muscular fitness. The tests they talked about in the lectures and readings are the 1 repetition max assessment, the push-up test, curl-up test, hand grip assessment, and short physical performance battery test. Starting with the 1RM test, which measures how much weight you can lift one time using proper form. It's a solid way to gauge strength, just like pure strength, especially for people who are doing like a strength training program. They do talk about taking into consideration pain and health issues when doing this assessment, which for me, I think would actually rule out this assessment. I do have some chronic medical problems and some pain, and I think that the things that I suffer with would make attempting max lift a little bit risky. So that one may not be for me, but I think that's probably one of the most accurate ones. Next is the push-up test. Some of the pros is it's simple and it doesn't require any special equipment, which is great. It may not be the most accurate because it really only tests the upper body, but it gives you a good base to look at. One thing that comes to mind for me is it probably tends to favor people with like a certain build or a certain body type. Cause you know, if you carry all your muscle up top and you got skinny legs, then that test isn't really necessarily all that accurate for testing your strength. The next one is the curl up test, which for me is kind of the same pros. Simple, no special equipment needed. It's also maybe an easier option for someone who may suffer from joint pain or discomfort, like if they have arthritis or something like that, because it focuses mainly on that core strength and using those core muscles. But again, not as accurate as the 1RM test may be. And then there's the hand grip strength test, which to me is probably my favorite that we learned about. I like it because it's surprisingly accurate. And it's great for people with chronic illness or the elderly, or people with some mobility issues. And, what I think about is like, when I'm having a flare up, I still want to be able to do those things that I would do when I'm not having pain. And I may not be able to lift as much or do as many push-ups or do as many curl-ups if I'm in pain, but I can probably still do that the same, you know? So I do think that it's one of my favorite tests that we learned about. The biggest con is that you need the dynamometer thingy, which, I mean, I don't know how much they cost, but I don't have one readily available or anything. Lastly is the SPPB. I think this one is super meaningful. I like it because it tests more the ability to perform and function in like daily life, just standing up and doing those things. And it's definitely the most practical of the tests that we learned about. And I think that it's one that everyone may need in their lifetime, whether you ever follow a strength training program or not. So I like that one. I think all of these tests are accurate enough for their uses. They each give insight into different areas of muscular fitness. And I think it's more important to really recognize that it's a starting point and it's not a judgment either way. So whether it's accurate or not, it's a place to build off of.